There's trust. There's trust that most of us want to acknowledge. And I think is that most people think that having a bigger circle means that you win in life, but it's actually the opposite. Oftentimes, people surround themselves with people that merely or doesn't give them the support or value to keep their friend group. So the three main problems of a very big circle are: one, how fake loyalty drains your energy, right? You're giving you're giving the trust and loyalty to somebody that it's kind of like a leak in your energy, right? You're giving trust to someone who's only playing that little part of like, oh, I'm your friend, I'm gonna give you that little trust and loyalty just to act that I'm your friend. Sometimes it can actually mess up. That can actually go the wrong way, right? You know, and the reason why it matters is because then you end up second guessing yourself. You end up just being undecisive as who's your real friend and who's that fake friend. You're walking on eggshells. You're wasting your time. You're wasting your energy trying to hold on to a relationship that doesn't give you anything, doesn't give you no value. There's only one bond that's one sided. Just saying, right? So I'll say you gotta when it comes to your loyalty, you gotta practice or protect your peace. You gotta protect your loyalty with somebody. Loyalty should not feel suspicious. It should feel solid. It should feel like a very good relationship, right? Now, going into the second thing when it comes to having a problem with a big circle is that why more people equals more distractions, more betrayal, right? A bigger circle doesn't mean you win in life, as I said in the beginning. You just end up having the wrong set of friends. You end up people letting in the people who you're letting people who come into your friend group that are not real. They're people who are not real ones, who hasn't been from with you from thick and thin. More options means more gossip and more snakes in that room. More slithers, gossip, and like little things that you're on. People, in sense, look at you. You won't like. You know, you won't like it at all. So that's why I'm saying, and the extra voice in that room doesn't make a difference. I'll say that's why it's better to have a tight circle, so you guys don't focus on the right. So you guys don't focus and waste your energy, and you feel betrayal and all these things and distractions in a relationship, right? And the most important one in my opinion, is that there's lack of support and value, right? There's lack of support and trust, better way of saying it. That you end up having a very un, unhealthy relationship because if there's no support, right? One, if there's no support, if they don't support you in anything that you're doing, and they tell you that you shouldn't be doing it, right? That's a friend that's not real, right? Going back into betrayal, more distractions, going into that second part that I stated. And the third and when it comes to the trust system, that then anything that is done against you, they talk about you and all these things, you will feel very bad. And going back, you waste your energy. You're wasting your energy. People that don't have trust and value. So why would you be with them? Why would you talk to them either? You know what I'm saying? So I think those are the three problems when it comes to having a big circle. The power of having a tight circle, right? A small group of people, right, or a tight circle, brings a lot more sense of more growth and more companionship in a relationship, right? So I have a very tight circle, in my opinion, right? I don't really talk to many people, and if I have friends, I just people from friends that I know and say hi and probably we talk a little bit, but from the rest, they're not really real friends anyway, right? But When it comes to having what real friends do, right, is that they call your BS out. They call the things that you are doing wrong. They call those excuses of, for example, the gym. You're not, you're not focusing on that goal or task you're meant to be doing. You're doing it wrong, or they give you out. They just call the BS. They call those little things that you're giving excuses about, and all these things, and like what the relationship you're having with your girlfriend. You're calling out their BS, right? That's a true friend. In my opinion, I will do the same thing for my friend, and then you'll be like, bro, you shouldn't be doing that. Just saying, or you should be respecting this. You should be doing this. You should be doing that. Those little things. That's calling your B. That's actually a true friend when it comes to calling your BS. And the second thing is that they help you level up and stay on track. They help you on that task, that thing, that little thing that they probably know about, and they help you out. They give you that advice to keep going forward and keep going to and get to the level you are trying to get to, and they want to see you to get into it. And also, you should do it to your friend too. Vice versa. You gotta think about that too. Everything that I'm telling you right now, when it comes to having a tighter circle, is you have to do it to the same friend, because then you're if you check yourself for a second, and if you don't do that, you're not a real friend. So you gotta. Sometimes people say, "Oh no," so then I have friends like that, but then why don't you ask your friends and ask them, "Hey, do you think I'm a friend? Do you think we do the same exact thing?" Or you check yourself first. Do you think we do the exact same thing? Yeah, check yourself. So making sure you check yourself on the things that you do with your friend, and if you do the exact same thing, if you figure out and check that friend that's calling your BS out and helping you level up does same thing to you. Okay. How to audit your circle, right? So looking at the practical view of what you should be doing to test your friends and test who the real ones are. Well, you need to ask them. You need to ask yourself three things, right? Who's supporting you when you're not winning? Who's supporting you when you're on the lows of your life, right? Who's telling you the advice of telling you, hey, yo, keep going and keep moving forward. You're gonna, of course, I know it. You're gonna make it. Things like that. Making sure you understand and you figure out that friend that you have is giving you the support when you're not in your best state of life, right? Now, the second question you should be asking yourself, who gossips and who guides, right? Sometimes we always have that little friend that gossips a lot. It talks about everybody at school and all these type of things, right? So I'll say, focus on focus and look at that friend that tells you all that gossip about school and gossips about I don't know, celebrities and just things that don't make any sense, or that want or figure out that person and find that person um who guides you, who tells you the advice that you need when you're in your lows, and advice when it comes to starting something new that you may know, you know. That's a real friend, right? And now, a last and final thing is like, who pushes you to growth and who pushes you back? Who pushes you to that comfort zone? Making sure that if you have a friend who's telling you, hey, yo, let's go party, let's go drink, let's go, forget about school. We should be focusing on something else. We should be focusing on boys or girls, whatever. That's you shouldn't be going to that. You shouldn't be going to that friend. You should be going to that friend that tells you, "Hey, go to the gym, bro. Start going to the gym. Start focusing on that thing you need to be focusing. Your health. You're overweight. Go. I'll help you out." Or that friend that tells you, "Hey, yo, you should be doing content creation, bro. You talk about you have good traits to talk. You have very good knowledge to talk about things and things like that." So that's the most important thing you guys should be focusing on when it comes to figuring out the best friends you should be having in life, right? Growth is not built on being well liked, right? It is built by the support, value, and trust you have in a relationship with a friend. Making sure that you figure out those little things that I just told you right now, when it comes to those questions that I just told you guys that you should ask yourselves, figuring out who has that fake loyalty that drains your energy, who's giving you those distractions and those betrayal moments in a relationship, focusing on making sure that you find that friend that has a good support and trust system, right? Who calls out your BS and who helps you level up. If you figure out those little things when it comes to figuring out that perfect friend, or not always perfect, but if you at least have one trait from that friend that tells you, hey, you should be doing this, giving you advice, keeping you in check in a way, that's the friend you need in life. So as always, making sure that there'll be a video popping up right now. If you haven't subbed, please sub. And as always, I'm watching from afar and stay true, guys. Peace.